All right, you magical creatures. That's right. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday. Again, we are recording some more Full Change podcast. Again, you can find that all podcast platforms. Please like, share, make a comment. That would help us out a great deal. Um, what's going on here today? So again, unfortunately, all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East there with uh, Israel, sad stuff. All the people lost their lives. The reports of stuff that they're doing to kids and everything too. That's kind of, I mean, war is one thing, but when you do that kind of stuff, it takes it to a whole new level. So, our prayers go out to everyone over there. Spent a couple hours on the phone with Deb Anderson Rising. I still can't get that name right. Deb is finishing off the book for us. Had a great conversation. So looking forward to getting that done. There he is, the magical creature himself, Ron Jameson. What's going on, brother? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Our veteran up in Buffalo, New York. Magical man. Yeah, I'm kind of growing out the hair all over the place, like the beard, the top of the head. Just experiment a little bit. See what's so it's like. So there is actually hair on top of the head there. It's just a little tin. It's thin. Hope everybody's doing well. Hockey season for the Rangers starts tonight. I can see Bedard scored his first goal last night. I saw the video too. It's kind of a neat tradition they do now, where they let the rookies go out first, and the rest of the guys stay in the locker room just for warm up before the game. So the guys skate around all by themselves. So, Sabres. Oh, that's right. The Rangers are up in Buffalo. That's right. Yes, that's right. Ronnie Jameson. Beat them Rays. Ira Matthews. How are you doing, you sexy bugger? You sexy bald man. It's you know what, it is funny now. I see more and more men. Maybe it's my imagination because I'm bald, or just shave it all off and go with the chrome dome. So it's actually pretty convenient, really. I'll tell you, you have no hair. You drive down the road with the windows open, don't have to worry about anything, or fix your hair up. Saves on shampoo. But again, I'm meant to grow. I know it doesn't show very much, but just scruff going and everything. So, what else is happening in the world except all this bad stuff? Gosh. And then they're talking about who else? Iran and these other places getting involved in it too. So, no, we're avoiding that subject at all costs. Larry will not be on the show. Thank you. Yes, still doing the walks. Yep. That's something that's part of the discipline. So again, Deb's finishing off the book for us. So we had a good talk about where all the discipline comes from and why it happened. It's interesting when you're writing a book. I recommend it to everybody. Where's Mary Lou? Oh, Mary Lou Retton. That's right. Yes, the gymnast. Did she pass? I know she was ill. She was fighting for her life. I wasn't sure if she passed away or not. Yeah, man. Remember her as how long ago was that in the Olympics when she was hot thing, right? There, Martha. Thank you, Ira. They are marches. So, again, talking to Deb about the book and everything, and where the meaning of true grit life. It's pretty cool because you're forced to go back and look at your life, and again, the discipline, how it evolves. We talked about the 353 video on Instagram, where that came from, with Jim Thompson doing that as a favor for him because he lived in a trailer park. And his trailer was number 353. So you do it for somebody else, but then it ends up helping you more because it just cranked up my discipline another notch. And you realize, okay, you're doing well the way you are, but you can always get better. And I talk about that a lot, but sometimes you have to remind yourself to do it as well. So, life support, that's sad. She can't be that old, really, right? That is sad. Good morning, Tom Anthony. How are you doing there, magical creature? Good to see you here. So yes, Rangers start tonight in Buffalo. Buffalo will be a much improved team. I mean, they've got those young kids getting better and better all the time. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Rangers, again, we stress so much. It's not all just that young kid line, those three guys, whether they're playing together or not, but but they're a big part of it, right? So, they're counted on for to be good now and be good in the future. We had Dave Maloney on Full Change podcast, and he was talking about how, some knock against Lafreniere. I don't know where it's coming. It was work ethic or what it is. Again, it seems to be more from the fans and everything that's kind of taken hold. from Dave said that like the first or second day of training camp, they're doing a lot of one-on-one stuff, competition drills, and Kreider and Lafreniere went at it, and apparently Lafreniere dominated Kreider, which is he's a big man, strong, competitive, well conditioned, to the point where he got mad threw Lafreniere against the boards, kind of because he was so yeah. Well, this is a good question here too. What would have the long-haired Laidlaw think of the no-haired? Yeah, that's the thing too. When you're a kid, right? Now you get the mullet going the whole bit. Never would have thought that it'd be going bald. Never really bothered me that much. Some guys, it really bothers them losing their hair. My sons used to give me a hard time because at the top here, they called it a peninsula at first, and then it became an island. And I started realizing, it's time to get rid of it. I did at one point go with the spike kind of look. And one of my clients, Dallas Drake, he just randomly, we'd seen each other and we were talking on the phone a few days later, whatever. And he just randomly called me. He just said, "Hey, Q-tip." He called me Q-tip because he was sticking up like that. So that was pretty funny. He's a funny guy. Dallas Drake was a great client to have. Hardly any work. Just do the contract for him. And he did the rest. I remember when he got bought out in St. Louis, he'd been the captain there, and he wanted to go to Detroit because he thought he had a chance to win the cup there, which he ultimately did. And he said to me, all he said was, "Get me to Detroit, and don't F it up." And he didn't use F, obviously, but that was pretty funny. So, and Kenny Holland, I became good friends with, and Jim Nill. Jim Nill was assistant GM, and Kenny said, "Listen, you're getting $500,000, and that's it." And I convinced Jim Nill to give us $550 so it could cover my fee, so it made it look like I was actually doing something. So, and when Kenny Holland found out of it, he kind of chuckled, but it was $50,000, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But he was good. No, I have not been invited. I haven't been doing as much stuff. You know what I'm looking for out there for somebody? If anybody, I'm looking for an agent for booking my speaking engagements. I get it's much better. Like I learned that when I was an agent as well. It's much better to have somebody else representing you as opposed to you calling up. So if somebody knows somebody that does that or wants to do that, that'd be fantastic. It's really just making cold calls to schools, businesses, and everything. And when I go to events, I do get a lot of people say, "Listen, Tom, can you come and speak?" And it's my fault. I need to do a better job of following up on that to get more of those speaking engagements. So, Kelly Dolan. Let me see. Yeah. Gross. Was the spike looking reminiscent of David Wells? Yeah, I guess it kind of was. Yeah, that didn't last long. The spike thing, it was a pain too. You'd always had to put the gel in and everything. Yeah, I went through that phase with the gel in the hair. And oh God, grass doesn't grow on a busy street. That's right, Anthony. You are correct there. That's what I tell everybody. Who's Kelly Dolan? It's Kelly Dolan. It sounds familiar, Kelly Dolan. I guess you know that person. Anthony will probably elaborate on that. I feel bad. I told him I was going to try to do a better job of if we had to change the time for the show, and I didn't get a chance to notify everybody. So, signing agent. Oh, Kelly Dolan. Okay, she does that for business. That's interesting. Very cool. Anthony, if you would, that'd be great. Tell me where do we contact her on Facebook or where we'd find her, and if that's her actual career, that'd be fantastic. Get more of those. I feel more like anything else, she's in New Jersey. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Anthony. I'll just drive over to New Jersey and just say, "Hey, where's Kelly Dolan? Do I have a Halloween costume?" No, I haven't gone trick or treating in a long time. So, okay. So we can go back to that. Halloween's coming up. And traditionally now you leave candy out for the kids, but we're into health and fitness. Isn't that kind of contrary to we're trying to teach the kids about health and fitness, but we're giving them candy as a reward? I know it's only one night a year, but where my chicken? Where my chicken? Oh gosh, where my chicken? That's a classic name. I like that. When we were on the Kings, who had the best hair? Baumgartner. Yeah, it was good. It was wild when he first got there. He had the shaved like stripes on the side and everything, different colors. So he had good hair. Jimmy Fox had good hair too. He still got the good hair, like he does the like the Carrie Fraser thing. It's all coiffed up there and everything. So his was good. Who else had good hair? I actually had hair back then. But yeah, I never really, I wasn't big on, I didn't spend too much time in front of the mirror. I had to get to the beers instead. Ron Duguay obviously had the best hair of all time. So, that's my love life. I love myself. So it's good. It's really good. I love myself a lot. So it's excellent. Thank you for asking, Ira. I appreciate your concern. You know I wouldn't tell you, no matter what. Oh goodness, Kenny Baumgartner, man. I've told the story before too. He was a classic. He liked this heavy metal stuff and loud, before the game. So normally the rookies don't run the stereo in the locker room, but he would come in, put the. We all thought he was crazy. He's not. He's actually a very intelligent guy. He would come in and turn the heavy metal music on. We'd all leave the room because we couldn't stand it, and we weren't going to tell him he couldn't play. So he'd be sitting in the room all by himself. Oh gosh, we'll go blind. No. You'll go blind. No. No, we're all set. Just love yourself. Love yourself. Smitty and Chico like to cover their domes. Yeah. There's a debate going on for a while there. I was positive that Smitty wore the rug on top there, and people didn't think he did. And we go back and look at pictures. He definitely had the rug going. I mean, if you can get a good one that looks natural, but like Chico Mesh, I mean, his looks like it's obvious. He's got it's like he bought it at Costco or something. Like it was maybe stole it off some guy in Costco and put it on top of his head. Didn't look like it belonged there at all. But hey, I think the big thing is like the shape of your head, right? Like if you're the head on your shoulders, Ira, don't be thinking of another head. Some guys don't like the shape of their head, like Tom Smith, the producer for Full Change podcast. He's got the Peter Boyle thing going on, the hair on the sides. He doesn't like the shape of his head too much to shave it off. So I give him a hard time all the time. He wears the hat. And because he wears the hat all the time, like the top of his head's just white too. It's like Casper the Ghost. Good guy. He likes it. So I remember when we first started too, he started giving me a couple of jabs here and there. And then he thought after he asked me, he says, "Is that okay?" I said, "Yeah, come on. It's fine. I certainly give it to people enough. So I better be able to take it in return." Comb over. So I know, like Donald Trump, like, what do you, I mean, don't you think I guess maybe nobody ever wants to tell Donald Trump something he doesn't want to hear, right? Then he'll get mad or fired and fire him or something. First game of the season, more intense in the room than the random game of February. No, well, especially if you've got an older team, it's just, yeah, it's not a big deal. When you're a rookie, my first game was up in Boston. Man, the nerves, like, because you go through training camp, obviously, and you played other games and you settle in. You're pretty sure you're on the team. In my case, I wasn't sure until the second game, but you're just so because it's your dream of playing in the NHL since you're a kid. And then, as much as you have confidence in yourself that you belong, it's like, yeah, you kind of, wow, this is really happening, right? Like you dream about it for so long. Like let's say you're 6 years old, and it was what's like 21 or something when I first played in a game, a regular season game. So it was, oh man, the nerves. We're up in Boston, the Boston Garden, and all the banners up there and everything. So, and then the second game being in Toronto, where I grew up outside of Toronto, watched so many games in Hockey Night in Canada. So yeah, to be on the ice playing, yeah, those feelings, those first few games, actually the first time through the league, some of the buildings you watched on TV all the time, especially the original six, like Chicago, Montreal was unbelievable to play there the first time. Guy Lafleur was still playing, Larry Robinson, Bob Gainey. You're sitting in those places like Montreal and Toronto. You're sitting on the bench, and the fans are right beside you. There's no separation. There's no glass or anything. So it's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm in Montreal. I think they did it on purpose. They put this beautiful woman sitting at the end of the bench there, with perfume, his fur coat, and the whole bit. So you're a young guy, and you're trying to concentrate on playing in the National Hockey League, but you're sitting right in the seats there and everything. So it was pretty funny. Those memories are good though too. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like that's like, is nobody saying to him like, Donald, listen, like his wife or whatever, like, Don, listen, you need to change the hairdo. No. Like, Ira, way out. That has nothing to do with the context of what we're discussing right now, Ira. Nice try by you. But yeah, Chicago was great. The first game there, you're going up the stairs. It's like you're going into the Coliseum to be slaughtered, that kind of. And they didn't have. I think their team was pretty decent then too, but it was like loud in the national anthem there with the organ player and everybody's standing up. I said the Canadian anthem. Roger Doucette. Yeah, Roger Doucette. What was he? Was he a Montreal guy? How about the guy in Boston that used to do the fist pump and everything too? He was pretty good. John Amarante for the Rangers was really good too, like a really distinctive voice. I like it when they like and same thing with the Super Bowl with NFL. I wish they would just get like somebody from the military get up and sing the song in the way it's supposed to be sang, and not get some artist up there like trying to change it and have their interpretation of it. Or whatever. His rug was a different. Did he have the rug? I can't remember with him. Oh, that's funny. Billy Smith. I was watching. I guess I had too much time on my hands. I've been watching some old games. The one game we played against the Islanders in '84. Kenny Morrow scored the winning goal, the fifth game, deciding game. Smith was unbelievable in that game too. Man, we had a good team back then. Really good. I mean, I felt bad. It was so good. You know, like two guys like Dave Maloney and Ron Greshner were healthy scratches for I think all but one of the games. I think for Game 5, that was when Bubba got hurt. Barry Beck got hurt. You know, and I say that because those guys were like great careers. David, captain of the team. So, but I'll tell you, they both came in Game 5 and played great too. I give them a lot of credit because that's a tough spot. Is it true after your incredible dance performance that you will be singing the national? Should be. I should be. Yes, no question. At least the Canadian national anthem, but they haven't brought that up yet. But if you want to drop a note to the great Jackie DiPiazza Farrell, now that's her. Well, she hasn't changed her name yet, but wonderful creature. I will be at. I don't know if this is an open event or not, but I'm doing a thing on the 26th at that Versa, the Renaissance Hotel. It's making a speaking presentation. I had a good presentation. I brought this up. We had the Chase Lounge, obviously. So Chase Bank obviously sponsors that. So they had me come in. They had some executives from Chase Bank. So they had me come in and put on a presentation there. Well, there was a really good group. Get much more comfortable with those presentations too. You're up there by yourself. Like I said, when I went to Northern Michigan, I was up there for an hour by myself and then did a little Q&A and really felt good. Because it's it takes a while. You know, you grow up and you talk about hockey all day long in front of people, but when you're talking about other stuff, the discipline, the mental health, all those things. So it's good. I'm gonna enjoy it now. So, who do I want? Let me see here. Who do you want to sing the national anthem? Katy Perry or Tom Laidlaw? Okay, I can bring something up too, and I don't mean to be critical or whatever, but who's Kelsey dating now? What's her name? Like she's not my type, that's for sure. Is she an attractive woman? What's her name? I can't remember. I just don't see pictures of her now and I'm like, really? What's all the fuss about it? Like she's a good singer, but what's her name again? It's awful. Can't remember. Obviously I'm not a fan, but Taylor Swift. Thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I'm looking and going, what's the fuss? I mean, her popularity is unbelievable. Like the ratings go up because she's in the building, and I guess she's a good singer. I don't know. She's surely not George Jones or George Strait or anything like that. But that's just my opinion. Yes, Ron Brooks is great. Sings for 76 years. Please reach out. Look him up. YouTube. Good friend. He's a good friend of yours. All right, good, nice. We had who's the blind guy? The first game Gretzky played in L.A. Roy Orbison. And I was standing beside Paul Fenton on the blue line. And, Roy Orbison was big, pretty big star. And I was a big fan of his and everything. And Paul Fenton leans over to me. It's kind of funny the way he did it. He was a good guy. He leans over to me and goes, who is this guy? And I said to him, it's Roy Orbison, you idiot. Oh, God, he was funny. Paul Fenton's a funny guy. He was one of those guys that just, and I say total compliment to him. It wasn't the most skilled guy. Man, he worked hard. He was like in practice games. He was one of those guys that we'd make fun of him too because he had to be first guy in line all the time. So usually that's the kind of guy that's sucking up to the coach. But in his case, it wasn't. He just, let's go. James Patrick was like that too, and he wasn't sucking up to coaches. He just, he was ready to go. He was going. Let me see. Yeah, let me see. So the Rangers have done a lot. Let's make it a totally Rangers territory. Yeah. So at that we had to walk the Lust Garden walk there at Jones Beach for pancreatic cancer, and there was a few Islander fans there too. Yeah. That's a great event, a great cause too, man. They estimated they had about 2,500 people walking at that. The parking lot was packed. Beautiful day for it. And it was one of those events you go to. I mean, it's sad in some ways because some of the people have lost loved ones. They have other survivors there, people that are going through the battle right now, and the survival rate has gone up, but it's still pretty low. I think it was like 12% or something like that, the survival rate. So great cause, fun to be at. That was the second or third year I was at it. John Starks was there last year. John Wallace was there. We haven't done a few things. He's a good guy, former Nick. But John Starks was there last year. It was cold and windy. John wouldn't get out of the car. He finally got out of the car, but he was calling me all the time. He's just, what's going on? Can I stay in the car a while longer? Yeah, you're fine. But he came out and did the walk. So they're funny guys. So it's those guys are great. Spreewell, I've been in a couple of events with him. He's kind of funny too. They're all funny guys. I got one picture with John Wallace. We did the Juneteenth event in Brooklyn, 2 or 3 years ago, and he's obviously much taller than me, but they took a picture at a certain angle that made it look even worse. Like I was like half his size, and again, he is much taller than me to start with, but then the angle of the picture made it. It's pretty funny. I like that picture. I told him about it. Yeah. With the with the Lustgarten Walk, we're all teammates. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's yes, it is one of those events where everybody. I guess it's draws people together. They've all gone through, again, they've got loved ones that maybe they lost or went through the battle. So it really draws people together. Like, even though people don't know each other, they all teams too. It's one of those things where they have teams and team names, some of the funny names too. So it's one of those fun events. Again, I got to be buddies with friends with Sheriff Luton, I think it is, out in Suffolk County. I've done a few events with him. We walked together, and tremendous guy. He's been through tough times in his life too. He's had beat cancer twice, lost his wife to suicide. And the only reason I say it publicly about the wife, he's open talking about his wife too. And it's like 20 some years ago. 2 sons, great guy, man. And so they were the ones that the Gilgo murderer, they're the ones that found out who it was. I guess they had known for a while, and they needed more evidence. They thought they knew, and they did a real good job. Because a few people knew, like a year in advance, but they couldn't say anything yet. So and we talked about it. Geez, that's really something to keep all those people quiet and not, because people talk, right? It's just human nature. But it seemed like nobody didn't get to the press or anything like that. So. Good man, like a gentleman, really thoughtful, speaks very well. He got up and spoke at the walk before we went and walked, and he was good. Let me see here. Tom's not a Swiftie. He's not shelling out a grant. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, listen, I want to be careful. Everybody has their own taste, but it seems like there's such a brouhaha over her. Again, I'm being judgmental here. She's not my type of woman, the way she looks, and it's not like it's Barbara Streisand or something like that singing, but she's successful, whatever it is. And we talked about too, like, what's Kelsey thinking? Because every time she's had a boyfriend before, once they break up, she writes some song about the guy, and it isn't flattering, the song. Because it was Jake Gyllenhaal she had dated, and she called him all that stuff she was calling him on the side. Didn't make him look too good. So you're thinking, like, okay, there's lots of women in the world. I guess it draws more attention to you and helps your brand or whatever. If you're Kelsey, you can say you dated Taylor Swift, but man, there's lots of women in the world. Why date somebody that's gonna, the history is that you're gonna break up with her at some point, and she's gonna write a song and it won't be flattering about you. But I would not put myself through that. But everybody does their own thing. Kelsey is doing a lot. Yes, he is. I don't know if that's part of it. That okay, so now he's got these commercials. So you date Taylor Swift, and so now the commercials, you do more commercials. And for her, I guess it's her career too, to be dating a professional football player. I mean, I'm assuming there's a lot like that stuff goes on. Yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff goes on where, it's relationships for convenience, not for love or anything like that. I don't think. Man, she puts a lot of makeup on it. Man, unless they spray paint that on there, she got tons of lipstick on. It's not healthy for you either. Man, would you want to kiss her with all that lipstick? Man, you'd have to go take a shower after, like your face would be all red and everything. Well, every picture she is like, I'd like to see her sometime with no makeup on, no lipstick or whatever. Man, she doesn't have to get dressed up for Halloween, that's for sure. Wow. But that's just my taste. I like the natural look. If they wrote songs about Tom Laidlaw, they'd all be hits. Yeah. Oh, funny stuff. Like I said, working with Deb Merchenheiser Anderson, and she's great. So we were on the phone for 2 hours yesterday, going over the book. So the book is we've got a version done, and that was done about a year ago, I believe. And since dogs are barking, okay, so well, here's a little update on the neighborhood here. I'm not pleased with the condition of our uh, condominium complex here. So one of the neighbors, they need to put a new cable in for their cable TV and internet, but the cable box where they have to connect it to is at one end of the building, and there's like 4 or 5 units between that and so they temporarily, I'm hoping it's temporarily, they run a cable that's laying on the ground. Now, it's not that big of a deal. But like I said, I was thinking about this the other day. So there's all these issues, right? So people park wherever they want to park in front of fire hydrants. One person does it all the time. I actually took a picture and sent it to the management. Showed them, hey, this is in front of a fire hydrant. So you get the fire hydrants, the dogs run around with no leash, dog poop everywhere, the grass is a mess, cables on the ground, dogs barking all the time and everything. And workers working past 6 o'clock when the noise is supposed to stop. So it isn't like each thing is a big deal, like slave trading. But when you add up all the things that are going on, I just like it's aggravating. Like this, like I'm sitting on my back deck, relaxing. It's been nice weather, and I look over and I see this. So I've got a fence for privacy there. It's a solid fence, but there's like about 6 inches at the bottom that's wide open. And here's this cable laying on the ground, and I'm like, what? I don't want. I'm paying too much money in rent to start with. I don't need to be sitting there where I have a cable. So of course I had to go out and move the cable. And then they came back a couple of days after that, and they moved it back against the fence. And I said, no. So I moved it again. So again, it's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. It's just that all these little things are going on. It's like, good God. And they don't do any, there's no enforcement of the rules or anything, right? So these cars that park, there's assigned parking spots. And so this car that parks in front of the fire hydrant, they park there every night. And it's on a driveway. It's not a parking spot. And it's right in front of the fire hydrant. I mean, my father's a firefighter, and he taught me, listen, you don't do that. Like if there's ever a fire, yeah, the chance of there being a fire is rare, but then the fire truck comes along and can't hook up to the hose or to the fire hydrant. And what if, like, even if their unit is catching fire, they're inside and they can't move the car, and then you endanger their lives. So, not the way. This is good. No. The other way around. I'm the educator. They're the ones that are doing all the wrong things. I'm following the rules. What celebrity would be Laidlaw's type? Huh. Who was remember Ann Archer? She was in that movie with Michael Douglas where he was cheating on her. I thought she was very attractive like that. I don't like all the makeup and perfume and everything. Just natural. You don't have to be a fitness queen or anything like that. Just be in shape, fit like a woman. I do like, I think Asian women are very attractive. And, women like from the Philippines and that kind of stuff. What celebrity would be Laidlaw's type? I like, yeah. So there's like women that are like hardworking and quiet, shy. That's my type right there. Let me see here. How's Gresh doing? I didn't see with Kelly. Oh, is that how you got it with Kelly? Okay. Oh, cool. Yes, I saw that advertised. I think it was on Facebook or whatever too. So Ira, it's not. Again, let's get this straight. That's the other. You have the wrong way around. I'm the neighbor from heaven. Like I've come down here to guide and help and educate. Have people follow the rules. The rules are there for a reason. I pooped on Laidlaw's. Yeah. So then, okay. So to go to my car from my place, you have to go down a little. It's not a big hill. It's just down a little hill, and it's supposed to be grass, but they left all the acorns and chestnuts or whatever it is on the. So it's like a roll down the hill. Clean up. And we used to come back and blow off the back deck with the blower, Ira. Get the leaves off and everything. They don't do that any longer. Oh man, this place is just going down the tubes. Let me see here. Laid Lodge Jack Leonard enforce the rules. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danny, you magical creature. Susan Lucci was an attractive woman, just way too much makeup and everything. Like, I just like the natural thing, natural. Excusez-moi, burpage there. Hockey mums. Had my smoothie. I realized, so when I have my smoothie in the morning, it's avocado, almond milk, or chicken bone broth. And then I have the sea moss in there, quite a bit of sea moss, a lot of fiber. And then there's collagen peptides and protein powder. So it does stir up a wonderful bowel movement. So I have to make sure I time things properly, that I have the smoothie, before like an hour before I go to Costco, or an hour before I do a show, because, it gets the juices flowing. So, Lorraine, how are you doing, magical creature? Besides Katsi, who's the best looking human you've ever met? Oh, we did it. This is years ago. We had a charity hockey game, and he took his shirt off after the game. And right in front of everybody, I said, "Oh, Katsi, you turned me on. I'll tell you. You walk around no shirt." And of course, everybody's laughing. He didn't think it was too funny, but oh god, Katsi is one of those guys that you can. He doesn't take a practical joke very well. Well, he used to. We used to be like roommates and everything too. So we used to run together. You need a woman that doesn't like AC or heat. If it was the right woman, well, yeah, most women are like that, right? Where they don't like the cold, right? So you just have to take that. It's just gonna happen. Lots of blankets. I do have lots of blankets. My daughter-in-law, and my son's girlfriend, not different sons. Not one doesn't have a girlfriend and a wife. And they come over. They're bundled up all the time too. They know where all the blankets are. They get cuddled up. Yeah. Yes. They cut down all these trees around me too. I had all the shade trees and privacy and everything. Now it's like wide open. I think they want like this wide open spaces. And bit. Like, God, I might move. Where should I move to around this area? I can go anywhere I want to get. My sons are grown now. I go up to Stamford, Connecticut. I go into New Jersey. Spending too much money on rent. The place has turned into a dump. Let me see here. I go to Long Island too. Once again, Senator Tracy. Yes, good point, BU. Thanks, Danny. Yeah, I haven't heard from Tracy. I hope she's okay. I left her a message. I know a lot of people did. So I know she really helped her mother out I think she was ill for a while too. Lorraine likes cold. Nice. That's good job, Lorraine. I like that. Isn't that usually the case? So the women don't like the cold. Like they want to be warm. Maverick, my son's dog, he's doing excellent. Thank you. He's just like us. We have a time limit when we go someplace, or if somebody comes to visit, and we all know about it. We all talk about it. That like 2 hours, like if they come over, 2 hours is max, and it's pushing. And we love each other. We have fantastic relationships. We laugh, joke around, but we all like our privacy, and it's open too. There's no game plan, like saying here's an excuse or whatever. It's just like, like same with my daughter-in-law. She's fantastic, Leah, my oldest son's wife. She will come over with the dog, and she just won't show up. Because she just wants to. We don't get offended by it. My youngest son Cody wants to go to lunch sometimes. He likes to go out. I don't like to go out, so I just go. I don't want to go out. Okay. So it's good. I think for a while there, we tried to make excuses and everything. Maybe we all just sat down and said, listen, there's no excuse. We all want to just go do our own thing. We love each other. We know we have fantastic relationships. We're there for each other at any time. But if it's just to get together for the sake of getting together, and that it's different like at Christmas and Thanksgiving. We'll make it happen. I love Thanksgiving. I love cooking the Thanksgiving dinner too. Oh man! So we obviously it's on Thursday, so we can watch football. Then we do our Christmas on the closest Sunday to Christmas, so that we can watch football as well. So, Jersey Shore. Will I fit in Jersey Shore? Like I'm not doing the fist pump and all that. My last name doesn't have a vowel at the end of it. So, let me see here. How do you do cooking related content? Hello. Do you do cooking related content? Yes, I do a cooking show every Sunday. I took the day off Sunday from everything, and I really do that. But so yes, I have a cooking show every Sunday. And we will take a recipe or could just make our own of something. We try to make it as healthy as possible. So like try to replace, not use sugar. We don't use any sugars ever. Try to limit our salt. Use a lot of capers instead. I know it still has sodium, but at least it's a. So capers are actually a fruit, from what I understand, and they have a lot of antioxidants and that kind of stuff. So try to be as again. We make our own ketchup. I call it ketchup. It's a dipping sauce. It's all vegetables and capers in it. So we don't put sugar in. We put so we'll roast up the peppers, roasted tomatoes in the air fryer. That gives it that sweetness. So it's again, it's not perfect. Like I like to make hash browns, for example, and then put a little butter in there. Actually, quite a bit of butter. Tastes so much better. But again, I don't use butter that often. Salt is, and rarely, most of the foods are not pre-made foods. Because if you look at like the soups and stuff like frozen chicken cutlets and stuff, lot of sodium in it, and things like when you go to Costco, they've got those great rotisserie chickens, but they're not very healthy for you. They pump it full of a whole bunch of stuff, and so you're better off. They have other chickens. The great thing about the rotisserie chicken, they kept it at $4.99 for years. And I think I read that they're losing money on those, but it draws people into the store. But very unhealthy for you. You're better off just getting one of the chickens they have there. And I throw it right into the air fryer. I don't season it or anything. I just put it in the air fryer, turn it on, and let it cook. Because I'm not eating the skin anyway, so there's no point in seasoning it. So it's just it's really easy to. Yeah. Let me see here. Move near me where I can ask you a million hockey questions. You're not driving me nuts, Danny. Well, maybe a little bit, but I'm already nuts. Okay, your description of cooking sounds very promising. Do you cook more simple things or more on budget things? Well, yeah, you try to be careful with the budget things, but like I think to myself, I don't go to restaurants hardly ever. I just think it's so much healthier. Again, I'd rather be home making my own foods. I can control what I put in it. So even if it's, like I have lamb chops or seared tuna, so those aren't cheap things. But again, you go to Costco, they can get like seared tuna. You get a big package of seared tuna, which is about, I think, typically about $30. They have normally. It varies obviously based on the weight, and then I'll carve them up so that I know what size of tuna steak I want, and it'll make like 4 meals out of like $30. So it's not too bad. And then when I sear the tuna, I use avocado oil, or it's usually what I use, avocado oil. And then I get a big bag of rice, that light brown rice. I found a cool app. Actually, Tom Smith, producer, found for me. I'll get it for you here. The name of it, and it's really cool. It's called Yuka, Yuka, and you scan barcodes, and it'll tell you. It gives you a score from 0 to 100 of how healthy the food is. Obviously, 100 being the best. And the brown rice that they use, I think it got a score of 100. If it's really low, it'll tell you what's in it that's bad, like preservatives, too much salt, too much sugar. So it's a really good app to, even things I thought were healthier than they were not very healthy. What was I eating that I thought was really healthy? Can't remember what it was. But there's even Costco's got a lot of good foods that are healthy too. So you take the app into Costco before you buy something, look at it. Again, you don't have to be perfect with your diet. It's just if you can avoid, like if you're going to buy a bag of chips, for instance, like they've got these whole grain chips. It's a white bag and pretty healthy. Like you scan it, and I think the scale, I think it's like a 85 or something out of 100. So you really learn what good foods are. Like I get avocado mayonnaise. I don't use that much, but when it really kind of wakes you up a little bit. Like, okay, this isn't that good for me. You realize, it's like sometimes you kind of talk yourself into thinking, well, it's avocado mayonnaise, so it's better, and it's better, but it's still not good for you. So, Tom puts hot dog pieces. Oh, hot dogs. Yeah, that's the thing. I was in Costco too, and I was going to buy the hot dogs, but I had to get in the cooler there and scan it. When I first got, you can first get the app, like a little kid in there. So I was scanning everything in the store, and the hot dogs are just terrible. Like the preservatives in there, and oh God, the junk they throw in there. It's just, it's one of those things too. I know I'm on a little bit of a rant here with that, but it's like, when do we promote smoking cigarettes? Like we have hot dog days and hot dog eating contests, and they're terrible for you, like hardening your arteries, and oh man. That's why if we can all just get healthy, well, but not. We all, like I've gotten this thing now where I think this is pretty accurate. I've seen a lot of videos on it where there's three big companies: Vanguard. You see Vanguard, yeah, he's here. Vanguard, State Street, and BlackRock are these huge. Like they in total are like $62 billion in $1 trillion in management. Dollars under management, and they go around. I think they said they own like over 80% of S&P 500 companies, all the stock and everything. So they own, pharmaceutical companies, fast food restaurants, and so the theory is that, and it makes sense to me that they are. They own the fast food restaurants. They keep the prices down, so it's cheaper to buy the bad food, and then you get people that are overweight, obese, suffering from diabetes, heart disease, and then they sell them pharmaceuticals that don't get rid of the problem. They just mask the problem, the issue. So the theory is that a healthy U.S. population does not help these people make money. They make the money on pharmaceuticals. Bad foods. Like if we all got healthy, imagine if we all got healthy, we just didn't have to take pharmaceuticals or medicine or go to doctors and everything. They just create some other business, some healthy business, like more gyms, more healthy foods. Let me see here. That affirmation sounds very powerful, but I would like to notice it. Is it based by or does the app? Review health levels. It's that's interesting. So when you look at the app, they stress that it's not owned by, and again, I don't know this for sure, but it's not owned by the food companies. It's an independent app. And they so they give the score, and then they analyze, and they give you they break down why it's healthy or not healthy. You get a green check mark is show the good stuff in it. And I think it's a red or brown or something like that. Check mark shows, okay, here's something that's bad in there. Like they'll give you a breakdown. They'll say like it's a little bit salty but not bad, or this is way too salty. And then if it's bad food, like if it's a low score, they give you options of other like, oh, I know what it was. It was Grey Poupon mustard I was using, and scanned it, thinking that's pretty cool. Lots of salt in it. So they then give you another option for like a mustard. I think it's that spicy brown mustard was much healthier. So that's the interesting stuff. It's still mustard, but it's made differently. Same thing with capers. Capers, there's different levels of sodium in the capers, so that you got to be careful. The Costco sells a good one, and you can rinse off the capers. Even a can of chickpeas that I use to make my hummus. A lot of sodium, a lot of preservatives on it, but you can rinse off, like the capers, you can rinse them off, get a lot of sodium off, get the preservatives off the chickpeas by rinsing them. So it's again, it doesn't appear to me to be biased, but for big companies or anything like that, it doesn't look like. Again, I don't know all the background, but it appears to be the real deal. Like it's just based on the facts of how healthy the food is, and again, they tell you why. They break it all down. So again, listen, who knows for sure, but it appears to be for real. So, Deb, how are you doing? I was just talking about you at the book. Had a great 2-hour conversation with Deb yesterday. Bonding, writing the book. Deb's excellent too. She really has a vision for what I want to get from the book, and so she's excellent. I ask some great questions, and I get babbling for hours. So poor Deb. No, sorry, Susan. I apologize. Again, I've got to do a better job, and I'm trying to. But if I have to change things, we're doing some more full change podcast today, so I had to change the time. I apologize, but you just, Deb, Susan, you're supposed to be available 24/7 for me. I don't know what the problem is here. You would love that I supersize me with the guy. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I love McDonald's too, like a fillet of fish. Oh, but man, that's bad. The fat and everything in there. And I was actually reading, I remember there's a reel I saw where McDonald's French fries, for example. So they want, is it russet potatoes? Potatoes are the only potatoes they'll use, and they have to be very long because they want the potatoes sticking up out of the little box that they have. And what they don't want, like sometimes potatoes get those brown marks in them. They don't allow that. They won't buy potatoes that have the brown mark. They want it perfectly perfect. And so they put these chemicals on it out in the field. And the farmers apparently, when they put the chemicals on potatoes, they won't go outside for 5 days because of how unhealthy it is. And even when they pick the potatoes, they have to sit for 2 weeks, or I can't remember the exact timing, in this barn where it's all ventilated to get all the chemicals off it. And then that's what we're eating. So you can't get all the chemicals off it. So it's, in effort just to have the potatoes look good, they have all the chemicals. So I hate it because I love those potatoes too, or those French fries. But Not if you really, that's the thing about like studying about foods and trying to understand how healthy they are, how they're made. And again, really reading the labels on there. Like again, like soups are great. I love soups. But if you buy a can of soup, like the sodium level, and that's a lot of like prepared foods, tons of sodium in it. And that's it's so avoidable too if you really, and again, cooking. So again, I know people don't want to cook every night, but you really don't have to. So I'll like on weekends, I'll make like a big batch of this rice that I have, pretty healthy rice. It's that light brown rice made by Delta or something. I can't remember what it was. And then I'll make up a batch of like a big thing of mushrooms, saute mushrooms, keep those. So then you can, especially with the air fryer. I mean, I try not to use the microwave as much as possible, but once in a while using it, and then you throw the stuff and reheat stuff in the air fryer. Again, the air fryer is just like an oven that just has air circulating through it, so that's the way you treat it. So I make up big batches of foods. If I'm going to make salmon, I just don't make one. But even if I'm making salmon, I get the frozen salmon from Costco. And again, with the air fryer, you just throw it in the air fryer. There's nothing. You season it up the way you want it. Put it in the air fryer. There's not a whole lot of cleanup to it. You rinse out the. Sometimes you don't need to rinse the air fryer, but you can cook it up. So if you want, like I'll get a big bag of rice or spinach, put it in my freezer. And it works good because it's frozen, so it stays longer, obviously. And then you just grab the bag and kind of smush it up a little bit. Now it chops up the spinach. You don't have to chop it up. Put it in I saute it up in a nonstick pan. Heat up some rice. So mix up the rice and spinach together, and then have a piece of salmon on top of that. So you get your vegetables. So there's a lot of things you can do to really prepare, and it's just learning, right? Like I didn't know all the stuff before. So start eating processed food. Yeah, yeah, totally. It's just, and you feel better about yourself. And again, I understand the thing about the timing, but again, if you prepare during the weekend, again, a big batch of rice, have frozen spinach and stuff that's really easy to make but still healthy. Um, yeah, it's all doable. Yeah, fast food is cheap due to low cost of making, and also features tons of sugar. Yeah, yeah, and lots of preservatives and stuff. But there's the preservatives, the chemicals, and again, I don't want to. I don't consider this a conspiracy theory, but when the same companies own the fast food restaurants and they keep the prices low, and then they also own the pharmaceutical companies, that's where they make their money. The pharmaceutical companies, so they get people obese, and it's just a fact. I mean, obese, diabetic, heart disease. Again, they don't make. If you look at the prescriptions and everything, they don't stop the diabetes. They just mask the symptoms. So yeah. All right, here who we got here. Attila the Hun. I remember us for clipping or next game of. Oh yeah. Yeah, Terry Riley's a scary man. He's scary. He just would never quit. Like you watch those fights against Clark Gillies in the playoffs that one year. He just wouldn't quit. Like Clark Gillies was an animal, but he never backed down from anybody. Just keep on fighting. So lots of old fights with him where he'd get knocked down, get back up again. Like he wasn't like he was the best fighter. He just would never quit. So which is I guess half the battle. So spaghetti takes 50. Yeah. Yeah. And with spaghetti, again, there's so many healthy ways to make it. I make up that dipping sauce, but I could use that as spaghetti sauce too. And it's all vegetables, no salts, no sugars, and capers or fruit. So it's you put that on your spaghetti. And spaghetti, if you get the right spaghetti, can be pretty healthy for you too. I get this. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought spaghetti was really bad for you, but it isn't on that app. It's actually decent. But also, I get that ramen noodles, rice ramen noodles from Costco. It's an orange bag, and they're very healthy, easy to make. They come in these little blocks. Heat them, put them in boiling water for 3 minutes. Break up the blocks, and then you've got your spaghetti's done. And you can do whatever you want. Again, I mix vegetables in with that. I put a little soy sauce, a low sodium soy sauce. Again, it is, even though it's low sodium, it still is high in sodium. So you got to be a little careful with that. But again, it's not all the time. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. If you had absolute craving for McDonald's French fries, could you control it? Yeah. I now, I even, here's a good story. So I went to car wash the other day, came to the car wash. They pulled the door handle off my car. It's like, what? So I got a buddy of mine that's got an auto body shop, and they're going to pay for it in a bit. So yeah, I was over at his place getting it repaired. And it's called Chicken Joe's Garden Catering. And they make all like French fries, fried chicken, and everything like that. So I went over there. I thought, I've never had this. I haven't had it in years. Felt terrible. I think because I never have any fried food now, so that's what happens. Like if I was to eat, if I wanted McDonald's French fries, I went to eat them. I feel terrible because I just never eat that stuff now. The big one I used to be was Kentucky Fried Chicken. I used to get a craving for that. I haven't had that in years now, but it used to be like every 3 months. Wouldn't have to smell it or anything like that. It'd just be like, okay, I got it. And I get like a 20-piece bucket, so I'd eat chicken on it for a week and then feel terrible with all the sugar in it and everything too. So, uh, do you have any plans on what you cook in the next cooking stream? So, that's a great question. Sometimes somebody will send a recipe to me, make a suggestion. I'll look up like if I've got lots of, I'll look in the freezer and fridge. Like, what do I have? So if I got salmon, I'll look up salmon recipes, like a healthy salmon recipe. Or if it isn't a healthy salmon recipe, I can change around things. So it is, the flours and everything. A friend of mine sent, she baked banana bread, and she used almond flour, all healthy stuff. So it was. It was good too. And then you want to put chocolate in it, so there's dark chocolate. So again, you can still have like the chocolate stuff, but again, so dark chocolate is better for you than regular chocolate. So let me see, or it is, or sometimes so it'll be just like the morning of, like it's Sunday. Usually make it around Sunday around noon, and I won't know for sure what I want. But I really stock. I'm pretty well stocked as far as food, so I don't necessarily have to go to the store. Sometimes I do if there's something that I really want to make bad, or else I'll just use what I have. And usually, if I go to like Costco or something on a Friday, then I'll think, okay, what am I going to cook on Sunday? Make sure I grab what I need. Yes, it's not conspiracy. They make people sick to cure them. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you said that. It's not. I don't consider it as conspiracy, right? Because it makes sense. If we had a healthy nation that was not obese, that was in shape, not taking medications, and not going to doctors all the time because they're sick, then it would cost these companies billions of dollars, maybe trillions of dollars. They'd find something else to do. I mean, they don't have to be making fun. I just think it's a whole racket. Again, I want to be careful because if somebody's legitimately sick and they need to take medication, then I don't want to say to people that you just shouldn't take it. But I do also believe that there's a lot of healthy, natural ways to treat. Well, first of all, don't let yourself get to the point that you, especially as you get older, your testosterone level starts to drop, you lose your muscle mass. And so, that's where working out comes in. You can raise your testosterone or keep your testosterone level at a higher rate if you're exercising and working out. And muscle mass, the theory that you're getting older and that you need to sit down and not work anymore, it's the exact opposite. You need to get in the gym and work out. Or it doesn't have to be the gym, even walk, do push-ups at home. Just keep active. It's better for your brain. We talked about how your brain and your body both are like pharmacies themselves. If you're working out, your body secretes these proteins that go and make your brain healthier, happier. And it's the same thing, vice versa. Your brain, if you're exercising your brain, you're thinking good thoughts, you're around positive people, then it secretes proteins to your body, and your body feels better. And it just works. So it's just so much we can do that you don't have to use medication. Don't let yourself get to that point where you have to. So, let me see. Yeah, there's been a relationship between a craving for food and a craving for drugs. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's you can call it addiction, a craving, whatever it is. So yeah, people will kind of judge themselves or label themselves and say, well, I can't do this or I can't do that, or I'm a night owl. Well, you're not a night owl. You're just staying up too late and sleeping in too much. You created what you are. Just don't tell yourself that. Say, okay, well, I'm staying up too late. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to go to bed earlier. It doesn't mean like if you're going to bed at midnight, and all of a sudden change that to 9:30. It's just, okay, if I'm going to bed at midnight, for 1 week, go to bed at 11:45. Don't do it all in one big step. Do it gradually where you get your sleeping patterns better. Can I scan MSG Pizza? Man, do they still have the sushi downstairs at the Delta Club? I don't know. They had good sushi there. Oh man, that's the thing. I mean, you go to an event like a hockey game at MSG or whatever. They get the hot dogs, but they do have healthier choices too. There's lots other stuff you can get. But I get it. You're there. It's kind of goes with the beer and the whole bit. But and again, you don't have to be perfect. Like I make pizza, but I make the dough at home and everything like that, so I know what I'm putting into it. I don't put sugar into it. Recipe calls for sugar. I put honey into it. I'll cut back on the salt. In fact, sometimes I don't use salt at all. Like even making sushi, with the rice. I didn't realize they put salt and sugar into the rice. You don't have to. You don't need that in there. In fact, I get rice vinegar, and you can get brands without sodium or sugar in it. So there's all these choices you can make to, they'll still taste good. Um, so how's the truck these days? The truck is working fine. We had a mystery problem with it where it was making this noise. And I took it to the mechanic. Great guy. He's been fantastic for me. He couldn't figure out what was coming from. So he did drain the fluids out of the differential. I think it was. He thought maybe there's some metal, like it's a grinding sound, and that it stopped now. But he really didn't fix anything. But we kind of laugh about it because it was just acting up on its own. So runs great. I did. The mirror fell off. I left it in the sun one time. The mirror, there's this little metal clip that's glued to the windshield, and it falls off. It's happened before. It's not a big deal. It's like $2. You get the metal clip, glue it back on, and put the mirror back on top of it. And so I went to do. I put the glue on the metal clip, put it up on the. Of course, me being Mr. Cocky Tom, I think I just put it up there, held it for a second, fell off, and I didn't hold it long enough. And if it had fallen just straight down, it just would have fallen onto the floor of the truck. Instead, it bounces, takes this weird bounce. It's like it had a mind of its own, and it goes forward into the vent for the defrost. It's like it had eyeballs and said, "I'm going to jump into this vent." So I had to order. It's like I said, it's $2. So I ordered off Amazon like a pack of 3 in case it happens again. Oh God, it's just and the truck is fine. It's just it is getting older. So there's little things but I mean, like I went to the auto mechanic guy or the auto body guy, and he says, yeah, they pull these handles off all the time. But it's just when things go wrong and they're constantly going wrong. You're like, oh God, like they came driving out of the Splash car wash in Greenwich, and they came driving out with the truck, and I'm standing there waiting for it, and there's the handle hanging off. Oh God. And the guy said to me at first too, he says, "Oh, they had to pull really hard because the door was stuck." I said, "Nice try. Door wasn't stuck, you." Let me see. Yeah, Attila used to ride practice. I always tried to get sticks off because people used to see the guys about Mug and Ale. Oh yeah, Mug and Ale. It's called the Rye Grill and Bar now. I think it is now. Yes, you're right, Susan. Walking is great. That's the thing. I mentioned the gym, and I need to be careful. It's exercise, movement, so much healthier for your body, your mind, and again with your mind. Like, don't be around negative people. And you don't have to disown people, but like I say, listen, if it's a good friend and they're getting really negative, say, listen, I don't want to talk about negative stuff. Let's talk positive. Let's go here. And kind of lead the way, and it'll help them too. It's just human nature for people sometimes to complain. I got a neighbor down there, this woman, and she's constantly wanting every time she talks to me, she wants to complain about things. I was like, oh God, here she comes. And then she wants to okay, well, what's your rent that you pay? Like, she wants to know my private information. We have boundaries. We have boundaries. Yeah. Listen, I don't. If people want to go to beers, like all alcohol, there's no redeeming value in alcohol other than, and I love having my cocktails. I love having my tequila and grapefruit juice. And that's the thing. You've got to live your life all out too. So if you don't like beer, drink water. If you want to have beers, have beer. But remember, if you're going to drink beer, then that's a lot of wasted calories you're taking in. And if you're doing it all the time, now you're going to start getting the beer gut and everything. And same thing. Listen, I have no problem. Somebody wants to go out at night and they're supposed to work out in the morning. Go ahead and go out, but just don't miss your workout. Don't wake up and then go, I'm not going to work out today. Have a random day off. If you're supposed to work out, work out. Go in when you're hungover. You'll get it done. In some ways, sometimes you feel better after if you're hungover and had too much to drink, and then you go work out and you're feeling better. So, let me see. Does your truck have manual or automatic? Automatic. It's a GMC Yukon Denali. Really nice truck. I've had it it's got like 130,000 miles on it. It's a beautiful truck. I've kept it in shape. We get the oil and all the fluids changed. I got a great mechanic that I trust a lot. So I like nowadays the price of cars, man. I've learned. I did it before where I got rid of cars too soon, where I could have gotten way more mileage out of them. Like this one should get, they'll say anywhere from 200 to 300,000 miles. So I might die in the truck. Who knows? And Amazon, yeah, it would be good for my wife. And Amazon, it would be good for yes. Amazon, yes. You can get anything in Amazon. And I know that there's some people think, well, it's hurting the small businesses, but don't the small businesses still have to make the stuff that Amazon sells? I'm sure it does hurt some small stores and everything, but Thanks, Deb. What do we got here? What do we got, Deb? Tequila and grapefruit juice. Paloma. Is that what that's called? The Paloma? Oh, man, that's a good juice. Again, listen, the same thing with the juices. A lot of sugar in there. So, like, I try to water it down. So, not, I'll have a vodka and cranberry. Again, it's the same with fruits and fruit juices. They can be very healthy, but there's a high sugar content. So, you really got to be careful with that and be aware of what you're doing. Man, this has turned into a health food store, or health food show here. All right, everybody. It's Thursday. We're going to be starting our Full Change podcast. Again, please go to all the podcast platforms where you can see our Full Change podcast. We had some great shows, great guests. We did one recently with James Patrick and Dave Maloney. Good conversations talking about the season coming up a little bit, coaching. James Patrick, what he's up to. He'll be back coaching again next year. He's taking the year off. So that is really going well. Very proud of that. So I'd love if you guys would like, share, comment, obviously listen. Herb Brooks watered down. I didn't water it down. He changed it. Went off in a different direction. All right, buddy. Great to see you, buddy. Again, I promise I'm going to do a much better job if I'm changing the times here. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Rangers tonight in Buffalo. Good luck to them. Everybody be safe. And remember, listen, 988 hotline. If anybody has any mental health issues, if you want to reach out to me, I'm there for you. But again, I'm not a professional at this stuff. I'll be there for you. And we all need to, I know everybody's some good people in this, follow the show. So we all help each other out and make sure everybody's happy and healthy. All right. Both mentally and physically. All right, let's have a fantastic weekend.